All right, so somebody sent us this article.
Okay.
It's called What Will Happen to the USA If Donald Trump Wins the 2024 Election? And
catchy title.
yeah, and honestly, kind of wild, right? I mean, it goes into all sorts of stuff like foreign policy, the economy, even like the price of groceries.
It is pretty far-reaching.
Yeah, so we thought we'd bring in an expert
Right here.
and do a little deep dive into this thing.
Sounds good.
All right, so
Let's do it.
one of the things that really struck me about this article is how it connects like global events to our everyday lives. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it all seems to start with this idea of
Well, they call it...
resurgence of nationalism,
Okay, so nationalism.
which can have huge ripple effects.
I mean, it's a big word, but like, what does it actually mean in this context?
Sure.
The article talks about America First policies.
Right.
Can you break that down for us a little bit?
So basically, America First, think of it as putting the United States' own interests.
Above everything else.
Okay.
Above global cooperation.
Okay.
So that could mean, stepping back from international agreements,
Like what?
like NATO, for example.
Oh, NATO. Okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that from
Some people might be thinking,
Paul Hadley.
what is that? Why should I care?
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares? Well, NATO is like a big team.
Okay.
Bunch of countries, including the U.S., and they've all agreed to defend each other.
Right.
It's been a cornerstone of global security for decades.
So like a big alliance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any shift in that alliance,
Could cause problems.
absolutely,
Okay.
could make things way more unpredictable,
right.
potentially more dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if things get unpredictable,
Yeah,
doesn't that mess with trade deals and the global economy?
exactly.
Like, I'm not an economist or anything, but it seems like,
You don't have to be to see the connection.
yeah, like
Totally.
that's got to have some impact, right?
Absolutely.
And this article is arguing that a Trump win could actually mean huge changes to the U.S. economy, too,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to things like deregulation
Right.
and tax cuts.
Right. They're
Like,
yeah.
like, what does that even mean
Well, think of it
for normal people?
as a potential repeat of the Reaganomics era.
Okay.
Remember that? Back in the day,
Vaguely.
cutting regulations and taxes
Okay.
was supposed to boost the economy,
Right.
and it might lead to some short-term gains, but
There's always a but.
there's always a but, right?
Yeah.
There's a flip side.
Okay.
There was the study done by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities,
Okay.
and they found that these kinds of policies actually widened the gap between the rich and the poor.
Oh, so like the rich get richer.
And the poor
Yep,
are behind.
stay where they are.
Exactly. So some people might see their incomes go up,
Okay.
but others might not be so lucky.
So it's like a trade-off.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And what about the environment? I saw that the article mentioned some concerns about rolling back environmental regulations.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Because, less regulation often means more pollution,
Right? More factories
Yeah.
doing whatever they want.
which could impact everyone's health
Yeah.
in the long run.
It's like we're trading our health for a quick buck.
Yeah. Some people would call that short-term gain,
Yeah.
long-term pain.
Okay, so we've got potential international instability, economic shifts,
Yeah.
environmental concerns.
Right.
And the article doesn't stop there, does it?
Nope.
It also talks about potential social unrest.
Yeah.
What's the connection there?
Well, think about times in U.S. history when things were really politically divided.
Okay, like when?
Like the Civil Rights era.
Okay.
The Vietnam War protests.
Right.
Periods with a lot of tension, a lot of unrest.
Yeah.
And that unrest was often fueled by divisive rhetoric and policies.
So what they're saying is
They're suggesting.
that a second Trump presidency,
Yeah.
with its focus on, certain issues, could lead to more of that.
Exactly. They're saying it could reignite those social tensions.
Wow, so not looking so good, is it?
It's definitely painting a picture of a potentially volatile period.
Yeah, and speaking of hot button issues, the article also goes into immigration
Oh, yeah.
as like a key area that could see some serious change.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of changes are we talking about here?
Well, they're pointing towards stricter immigration policies,
Okay.
potentially even tougher than what we saw during Trump's first term.
Wow, so even stricter.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, how so?
Well, imagine a world where it becomes much harder
Okay.
for people to immigrate to the U.S.
Okay, so less immigration.
Right.
And that leads to...
Well, could lead to labor shortages.
Oh, right. Less people to do the job?
Exactly, in key industries, and that impacts everything.
Like what kinds of things?
Everything from the availability of certain goods and services to...
Wait, The price of groceries.
The price of groceries.
It all comes back to the groceries.
It's all connected.
Wow. So from global alliances to like, what's in my fridge?
It's all connected.
This article's arguing that a potential second Trump term could really shake things up.
Absolutely. It really highlights how interconnected everything is.
And it kind of makes you realize how important it is to be informed.
Absolutely.
You know, like about the political process.
Your vote matters.
Yeah, your vote and like understanding the potential consequences of different policies.
Right, because they could directly impact your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to our listener who sent in this article, thanks for giving us so much to think about.
Yeah, great article.
And to everyone listening, we want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
If these potential shifts were to become reality,
yeah,
how would you adapt?
how would you engage?
We encourage you to read the full article yourself.
Yeah, check it out.
And explore these questions further.
Definitely food for thought.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.